2,000 watts on the box, gone in half a second. That inflated rating is number 7 on this list, and honestly, it's the least alarming thing I found. Because I did something the review channels won't. I cut both of these open. A $200 power station and a $2,000 one, side by side, guts spread across my bench. And yes, I destroyed 2 perfectly good machines to do it. Worth it. Here's what took me a while to understand. 8 of the top 10 stations on Amazon trace back to 2 factories in the same district of Shenzhen. Same buildings, same lines, sometimes the same workers. So the skeptics in my last video had a point. Close the factory gap, and you should close the quality gap. But you don't. And the reason is sitting inside these 2 cases, in 7 specific parts. 7 parts, counting down to the one that can actually start a fire, and then exactly where your $1,800 really goes. So, number 7. You saw 2,000 watts and pictured running your fridge, a space heater, maybe a power tool. That's the picture the box wants. It's the number that sells the unit in a hurricane aisle when you're scared and rushing. But that 2,000 is the surge number, the half-second spike when a motor kicks on. The continuous rating, the watts it actually holds, is often a third lower and buried in the fine print. The expensive unit stated one honest continuous number and hit it. The cheap one advertised the spike and sagged the second. I put a real load on it. That's not a spec. That's marketing wearing a spec's clothes. Number 6. The watt-hours you paid for versus the watt-hours you get. The label says 2,048 watt-hours, and technically the cells add up to that. But that's capacity measured at the cell, before the inverter, before the conversion losses, before the low voltage cutoff. What reaches your actual socket is 15 to 30% less on almost every unit made, cheap or premium. So far this sounds even. It isn't. The good one tests for that loss and tells you. The cheap one prints the big number and hopes you never measure it. Number 5 is the inverter, and this is where the weight comes from. I put both boards on a scale. The expensive inverter had a real transformer, thick heat sinks, and switching parts rated well past their load. The cheap board was light and thin, but the real tell was the output. Clean, pure sine power looks like a smooth wave. Cheap output looks like a staircase, high harmonic distortion that makes motors run hot and sensitive electronics whine. Your call whether your CPAP or your laptop rides that out. I wouldn't. Number 4. The brain. Every lithium pack needs a battery management system, deciding when to stop charging and when to cut out. The expensive one ran a genuine Texas Instruments monitor, the BQ76952. That chip actively balances every cell. It watches temperature in real time. The cheap board did the bare minimum, but the real gap was worse. Passive balancing at best and no temperature sensor I could find on the pack. Remember that missing sensor. It comes back, and when it does, it's the whole story. Here's the thread tying the first 4 together. Every one of them is a place the cheap factory saved a few dollars. And every one is invisible until something goes wrong. If you're finding this useful, subscribe, because I take apart the thing you're about to buy so you don't have to. Now the part the engineers in my comments actually demanded. Number 3. Who actually made the cells? Flip a premium cell and you'll usually find a name you can look up. Eve or CATL. Those 2 giants supply most of the industry. Flip the cheap cell and the tell is what's not there. No maker, no logo, or a logo that leads nowhere. These are cells sold by the pallet to whoever is building this week. Next month, it could be a different cell entirely. Same sticker on the outside. So the same chemistry. Lithium iron phosphate. But you cannot trace the cheap one to a company that would ever stand behind it. Number 2. And this is the one you asked for. Cells get sorted into grades at the factory. Grade A passes every test. Tight capacity, low self-discharge, matched internal resistance. It earns a laser-etched serial and a scannable code. You can trace that code to a date and a production line. Grade B failed something. Maybe capacity drift. Maybe a leaky self-discharge rate. It isn't scrap, but it isn't what a good pack is built from. Grade C is worse, sometimes reclaimed from used packs. And here's the fraud the testers keep documenting. Grade B cells get their real markings ground off and a fresh serial re-etched on top, so they can be passed as grade A. So when someone tells you it's the same cell from the same factory, they're half right. Same factory, different bin, and the bin is invisible from the outside. The case looks identical, the spec sheet reads identical. That's the whole trick. That invisible from the outside part is why I wrote a manual for this. A plain way to read the label before you ever open the box. Number 1. Remember that missing temperature sensor from number 4. A lithium iron phosphate cell is genuinely hard to set on fire. Far safer than the older chemistry, and that part is real. But safe chemistry with no temperature cutoff and a cheap charging board is how you get thermal runaway anyway. This is why real certification exists. UL2743 is the standard written specifically for portable power stations, and it tests the exact failure the cheap board skips. The expensive unit carried a real listing. The cheap one carried a sticker that looked like one. And this isn't theoretical. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has pulled portable power stations off shelves for fire risk. Some were no-name Amazon brands, some were not. It's a public database. You can look the recall numbers up yourself. That's number 1. That's where $100 saved dollars becomes a house fire. So the point was never to scare you off the cheap one. It's to show you exactly what $1,800 buys. Because now, you can see it. It buys grade A cells you can trace. It buys a real brain that balances and watches temperature. It buys an honest continuous rating and a clean sine wave. And it buys a certification that means someone tested the failure instead of hoping. Some of that is worth paying for. Some of it isn't, depending on what you run. If all you need is a phone and a couple lights alive in an outage, the cheap one can genuinely do that. Just know exactly what you're holding. So here's what I'd actually do with this. You don't need the $2,000 unit to be safe. You need to know which corners got cut. Before you buy, do 3 things. 1. Find the continuous watt rating, not the surge, and check it against what you actually run. 2. Look for a real UL2743 listing and verify the number. Don't trust the logo. 3. If you ever get it open, a traceable laser-etched cell with a scannable code is the single best sign you got grade A. I personally think a mid-priced unit that nails those 3 beats the cheap gamble and the premium tax both. That is the one I'd spend my own money on. The cheap one and the expensive one really can share a factory and a chemistry. But a factory is an address, not a promise. The grade, the brain, and the certification are the promise. And that's the part the sticker price is actually arguing about. Now you can read it before you pay for it. Quick one before you go. No sponsors, nobody pays me to name a brand, and that's why the manual exists. I wrote it after watching my own dad nearly buy a wildly oversized unit last spring, on a salesman's word. The part I'd point you to verifies a real UL listing in under a minute, and decodes rated versus usable. It's $29.99 against a wrong box that costs you hundreds. You got today's answer free either way. The link's in the description and the pinned comment. Next, I'm cutting open a proprietary expansion battery, the one that costs as much as the power station it plugs into. You're going to want to see what's inside that markup. YouTube thinks you'll like that one, so click it. And if you made it this far, subscribe. I'll be in the comments.